look, the reason we're here tonight is, look, as we said earlier, Tyson Fury relinquished the Ring Magazine belt. So while every belt but the WBC was already at stake, if that wasn't enough for you guys out there, now the Ring lineal, this is the man that beat the man that beat the man without beating him because he retired.
Because he retired.
So if you take him out of the equation, this is the lineage of the heavyweight title and how it always was handed down, as we would say. The man who beat the man, the man who beat the man who beat the man. Going back as far as Joe Louis, the guy who beat him, and then the guy who beat him, or retired. Like no one beat Marciano for it; he retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then this is how it happens. It's for all the marbles.
Yeah.
We haven't gone. Look, there's deep dives into a lot of this promotion, B, that we have the luxury of knowing a lot about. I don't even know if we discussed about what do we think about it being in Saudi. Neither guy is Arab. It's very hard. It's very hard to say no to the money that can be.
Yeah, I mean,
to the purse. No one's outbidding.
These are two non-Americans, so this is not something we would be. We should expect to see here.
We wouldn't be getting it here, but there would be 80,000 people at Wembley, 100,000 people, whatever it can hold.
Right. But again, I think what you brought up just a second ago, historically, fights, classic heavyweight fights, Thriller in Manila, Rumble in the Jungle. This isn't the first time we've seen neutral soil somewhere else.
Hassan Rahman, Lennox Lewis won.
Right. Where was that?
Africa or South Africa?
South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay. With a controversial head of state, right? Financing it.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, right? Those guys have.
Well, you make a great point though. For us, we have people that listen that around the world, which we're lucky to have.
Thank you.
So we're being selfish by being like it's not here, but you made a great point by being like, well, bro, it wouldn't be here anyway.
Right.
So we're not losing it.
No,
to anybody.
Right. So this is two non-Americans. We have an Eastern European, Ukrainian guy, Ukraine, and a Brit. Okay, fighting for everything. The internet, as we spoke earlier, technology, for us, for this sport, is beneficial and makes the world a lot smaller.
Yes.
So we now know AJ, we know Alexander Usyk, we followed them, we were able to stream their fights, we've been able to look up the countless archives on platforms like YouTube to analyze these guys, watch their amateur fights, amateur fight. It's fucking incredible what you can get your hands on now.
I mean, Usyk's run at cruiser we might not have seen, you and I, in a certain era. I don't mean
15, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have seen it. You would see highlights after he moved up. They would show grainy Eastern Euro highlights, or European, Euro boxing highlights. Formatted differently. And shout out to Great Britain, but your TV quality is trash. It just is. It's second rate to out. It really is. It is.
You guys aren't going to let that go. I want you to write in.
Hey,
KEOTB boxing. Is that it?
Yeah. Glad you know the email.
KEOTB boxing at Gmail, and talk to B about his horrible accent as AJ impersonation.
That wasn't it. It was just that was just a random South London.
A supporter of AJ.
Yeah, it was just a supporter. It wasn't my AJ.
Sorry.
Wasn't my AJ.
That we'll get that later on as we deep dive more.
Actually, I don't have one. I got to work on it.
So look, B.
I got to develop it. All right.
So really, is our stance on this? We have no problem with it.
I have no problem. Yeah. Why would I have a problem with it?
I have something to bring up. we have not discussed this. We discuss most things in our personal lives, and they end up on this show. Horribly promoted in the United States of America.
This?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, I know we got a lot of Aussies. I know we got guys in not just England, but the entire UK.
Who is Usyk's promoter? Is it Eddie Hearn?
Eddie? Is it Eddie? Well, the way Eddie talks about AJ, I hope not. I mean, who is, I mean, I'm trying to think, like when Usyk was fighting in the cruisers, who I was associating him with promotionally. And I can't think, who does Elgis like run all those guys through? It was like
Elgis Klimas.
Yeah, it was like
no, but that's what I'm saying. So like, there's this fight is just it's not an American fight.
It's not. So, but what I'm saying is, we've talked on this show.
Dude, they didn't even know up until like last week
who was going to air it.
Who's going to air it?
Literally days. It was like, oh, it's going to be this.
It's on DAZN, guys, for free. Right?
You do not have to pay the extra like you did.
The Canelo tax.
With Canelo, and there's going to be another Canelo tax in a few more weeks against Golovkin, which
also been horribly promoted.
Secondly, B and I were going out of our way to commend how good of a job they were doing with that fight when it got announced, and then they just went. It's gone.
Yeah,
they're throwing out first pitches. They're cutting promos.
I haven't heard shit about it.
I haven't heard. Look, Ugats, nada, zilch. Another poorly promoted fight, guys. If you're not in Europe, Australia, in the Middle East, and you're listening to us, look, you got to be a boxing head to even know this is happening.
Right.
But B and I have explained to you guys who might have got into it later, or might just don't go back and don't care much about, pre-Tyson. You were once the most famous athlete in the world if you were the heavyweight champion of the world.
Hey, so for our fans, please write us in kotbboxing@gmail.com. If you are overseas, if you're in Great Britain,
Europe,
if you're in Eastern
Australia,
tell us how this is being promoted. Hey, if you're in the Middle East, tell us how this is being promoted. Are you seeing billboards? Are you seeing commercials? Are you seeing stuff leading up to this fight that is whetting your appetite, is getting you, amped up for the fight? I mean, this fucking thing's going down.
Jeddah, where it's being held, is completely a buzz. The whole city is a buzz. But what is that saying globally?
Globally,
not
right.
much. Not much.
Let us know, or just tweet us. You guys know our or write us on Instagram, whatever. You guys know our handles. Let us know. I'm curious, because I follow on Twitter most of the boxing pundits and writers and whatnot, who don't block me already. So I really haven't seen much from them.
I guess, is this an instance of us being arrogant Americans?
Maybe. Or is it also a combination of a few things? This is like big vacation time in America. You know what I mean? Are guys taking a break? Is it? But I don't know. I've just, you're right. If this was a domestic heavyweight, okay. Wilder Fury.
I was just going to go to that as an example.
Insane.
I was going to go
My
to that.
My timeline was filled with it.
How much of the fact that Usyk's English is not there, even though he's hilarious? I mean, dude, hilarious.
Yo, what's up with him carrying around an Eeyore? This is my little donkey right here.
I don't know.
This is my Anthony Joshua.
We're both big fans of his Batman.
He's my favorite boxer. Him and Cool Boy.
I was going to say, now don't go back on what you said on the air.
No, hang on. I think it boils down to hairstyles. And Usyk's got the front rat tail. Cool Boy's got the rear rat tail.
Usyk looks like the kid in Rugrats Rugrats with the thing on its head.
Yeah.
But I'm not hip to that show enough to know the name.
I don't know the name either. But that is actually, I think that is a historical haircut for
like some warrior shit.
Warrior shit, yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah. And that's how the dude cuts his hair.
Look, I don't know how much, obviously AJ is super articulate. I've said on the show he's a likable guy, and people from over there have written me and said that I'm wrong. They've written me on Twitter and said,
why is he unlikable?
I'm not sure. Another thing that people can tell, feel free to write us on Twitter.
Why is he unlikable?
I don't get it. But we're not there.
Is it like certain stuff he did? Did he wear the wrong shirt, not support this cause?
If you put a gun to my head, yes, that's it. And we don't understand it because
did he fucking fart in the wind, the wrong way, and everyone's fucking bent out of shape about it? I mean, when you reach that level, people talk about picking nits.
I know racism and Islamophobia reared its ugly head when he went with a friend to a masjid in London, and he got bombarded with hate mail.
Is he Muslim?
No. He's very interested in Islam. I can say that factually, that I know that he's very inquisitive about it. And I would not be surprised if things go down that route. And if they do, alhamdulillah for that. But as of right now, he is absolutely interested. And he was just at the masjid making salah, but he is not taking his shahada as of right now. This isn't a friend of mine that I know well. He may while he's over there.
You hang out with AJ?
No, but I know people who do.
You chop it up? Yeah, I know people who do too.
Yeah.
This fucking
we know people who hang out with Usyk too.
This fucking guy.
This guy's baby's getting kisses by Usyk.
I'm telling you, when Joe Biden went over to Saudi, I know who got the interview.
Yeah.
Sat down with him talking about sneakers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, for whatever reason,
shout out to that dude, by the way.
Yeah, big shout out.
He knows who he is.
Look, I don't know that we can. We're asking each other these questions, and we're coming up with bupkis. Guys, for what it's worth, so it's during the day on Saturday. Don't think it's at night and missing, because this is going to be good. Saudi 7.
I'm gonna have to watch this on my cell phone.
Saudi is 7 hours ahead, guys. So
it's gonna be at 3 o'clock.
Plan accordingly. Then that night, there's 2 other cards too. So you got a whole Saturday into your Saturday night of boxing, high level stuff. You want to talk about this fight a little bit, B?
Let's do it.
Something that jumps out at me is how big Usyk looks comparatively. It's muscle.
Was bench pressing tanks over there.
It's muscle. I never liked that.
I think he's going for a knockout.
I'm not a fan of guys who put on muscle mass. What do you think about that, B? We're not going to know. Well, now we haven't seen the way.
It's going to kill his stamina. It's going to kill his flexibility. It's going to kill his movement, but it'll increase his strength, right? So
that's the
is he going for the knockout? I'm going to go ahead and say he don't want this thing to go 12. He had to walk through fire the last time. Did you see what his face looked like after that fight?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Bruises. The man looked like he was in a fight.
That said, he hurt AJ a couple times.
So maybe he's falling in love with that. He wants to score a knockout, make a statement. He was talking greasy. They were talking greasy about each other, him and Tyson Fury, much like Billy, the producer here. Irish Billy talks greasy about me. To you,
unprovoked
to you behind my back. But thank you for sending me the screenshots.
Of course.
And like it. Salute.
I'm not gonna have it on my watch.
Anyway, so I think Vinny, I think this guy's gonna go for the fight's for all the marbles. I think Usyk's gonna lay it on the line and go for a knockout. What do you think?
Let me ask you this. Do you think Do you think that Ring magazine, the lineal championship, 100 years plus of tradition being thrown into that pot, of these big, beautiful belts, sweetens that pot and gets these guys a little bit more horny for this win?
Well, okay, so I was going to touch on that. So
I'm just curious. I know.
the last time AJ lost, he came back and he stunk out a win, right?
Yes, he did.
Did what he had to do. He stunk out a win.
Yes.
So we know he can stink it out.
We
know
do.
He can, and we know he doesn't have a problem with it. Even though, everybody wants to see him score knockouts. He is a big puncher. But he has some stamina issues and he can stink it out if he needs to. Will he say none of that bothers me, right? None of it bothers him. I'm here to win. I'm here to carry on my legacy. This will be a devastating loss if he loses to a recently former cruiserweight. If he gets knocked out, Vinny, by a fucking former cruiserweight for all the belts on the big stage, they're getting $100 million a piece for this fight, by the way, in Saudi. Okay. You said before you don't see that's the ceiling for him. If he loses this fight, he's not marketable anymore.
In the same breath, I said that I don't think there's a more forgiving sport. So
right.
I'm contradicting myself. I don't know that I'm right. I don't know that I'm right about
but
that. I pontificated.
You pontificated, right? So what I'm doing is we're putting ourselves in AJ's brain right now, right? What if he says, "What the fuck am I going to do after this?" I'm. Will I get this Wilder fight even? This is as must win, right? I mean, every fight's a must win fight. I hate that term. Oh, it's a must win. It's a must win. Everything's a must win. But even though Usyk beat him the first time around, AJ still has a lot more to lose than Usyk, just based on the fact that he was the established heavyweight.
I agree.
So Usyk is still like loosey-goosey going into this one, and all the pressure's on AJ.
I agree with that as well. I want to talk about you talking about his a decision to stink the joint out.
Right, against Lewis.
Look, Lennox Lewis could choose to stink it out, then stink it out. When I'm thinking specifically of Tua. Like, guys, you want to go, you need to be put to bed. Watch Lennox Lewis, David Tua.
Right.
I'm trying to avoid this bomb hook that has knocked people's heads off before.
Right.
Whatever it takes. I do not believe that Anthony Joshua can make the conscious decision to stink it out and do that successfully against a guy that's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a different style. So that's what I was going to jump on. So Ruiz, he was much bigger than, right? How do you stink it out against Usyk?
You don't. No.
He'll outstink you.
No. If he, first off, a huge part of stinking it out is jabbing a lot. Usyk's jab won him that first fight.
Right.
What he did off of it. I'm not saying he only jabbed and stunk it out. He exchanged it. He got in there with the bigger, stronger guy and hurt him. That jab is beautiful. What is AJ going to do to neutralize that? Stinking it out, his jab is better. He's going to be eating a jab. He will counter the jab with the jab.
I guess just try and stay at range, not mix it up, not get into those exchanges. Can he do that? I don't think he can.
No, I don't think he either. You can't. Look, historically, it says you can't outbox the boxer. Historically, it says that.
So what does AJ do? Does he have to impose his will this time and try to knock him out? He hurt Usyk last time around, and he
look, man, you can't forget that, like, this guy is big and strong
and
good. You're talking about a gold medalist,
right? Talking about a guy who beat Vlad, and a guy who beat knocked out Dillian White, knocked out Vlad, came back in both fights from being hurt.
And guys, don't forget, he has 2 losses, and he avenged one of them in a lopsided victory and proved that, yes, it was a fluke.
Right.
By fluke, look, he got caught. I remember saying to you, I remember saying to you, something's wrong with this guy at that fight at the Garden.
Yeah.
Ruiz was a late replacement. It still wasn't his. Look, Lennox Lewis has those 2 bad L's, and he avenged them both. So he fought every guy he got into the ring with.
Right. Beat every guy he got,
yeah, what did I say? He fought every guy he got in the ring with? Yeah, obviously he did. He beat every guy he ever fought. If AJ does that, like I said, most forgiving sport. I can't look that the jab and the angles.
Right.
And
I think the angles and the footwork are going to bother AJ more than anything. And I don't think you can stink it out with Usyk, whether he's got this, level of bulk on or not, if that proves to be a mistake. Again, angles, footwork, gas tank.
I said this is a mistake when AJ went to Robert Garcia. And now that we are speaking out loud about this, maybe it wasn't, because the only shot I think he has is what Robert Garcia is probably bringing to the table.
Well, let me ask you something. Where does something like that come from? Like that sort of statement? You know what I mean? Like, why? He was with the last guy and it didn't work. You know what I mean? So everybody at the end of that broadcast was saying he needed to make a change because the corner wasn't really helping him. So what's wrong with Robert Garcia? You tell me. I don't see a problem in seeking out another trainer you have a good rapport with.
Yeah, nor do I.
You have a good comfort level with. Why? And I said it on this show, because Garcia doesn't have any heavyweights.
No, because stylistically, Garcia is going to have him coming into the fire. We have to talk a little bit more about, do we think that this is important? And you and I have talked about Usyk looking like a monster, but we have not talked about this. And that is, did he put on weight, or is he the same weight, just more shredded?
I don't know. Like I said, man, guy was at war.
We're going to see at the weigh-in, and we're going to have numbers, numerically, data.
So if he's like 10 pounds of pure muscle heavier,
then I might have an issue with that. If he's the same weight and just shredded, then I might not. But I'm worried about, look, man, historically, unless you're talking about these freaks like Holyfield and Mike, who look like bodybuilders just being them, I don't like muscular guys. Hey, yo. I don't like muscular. I don't like guys that come in like body, but I thought it was part of Jeff Lacey's problem. The fluid, they lack fluidity. This is based on science. This isn't based on guesswork.
Right.
It creates
you want to be built like a dancer, not not like a bodybuilder. That's the adage in boxing. A dancer's body, and Ray Robinson was a dancer.
Yes. You look at the loss of fluidity when these guys bulk up. Look, I don't. We have so much time to go before the fight, and while we're recording, we're still days away from the weigh-in, seeing them next to each other, and and all of that, which we saw before, but we don't know what they're coming in at.
I'm interested to see too, man. But again, Garcia's style, guys have different game plans for different fighters. So we'll see. Again, who else was out there?
Look, he's going to want him to jab his way into the inside. And I think that's a bad place to be. I do not think you want to be inside, or I don't think you want to be mid-range with this guy. Because look,
you're saying take the Lennox Lewis Vlad route Jab, jab, jab.
The difference with those guys, B, when they chose that route and they stunk it out, I think that won't work either. I think you have to fight from the outside, but be active from the outside.
Right.
And constantly look, I want a double jab, a right hand, and a left hook. Get out of there and do it again.
Okay,
if I'm Robert Garcia, and I don't think that AJ
maybe he
has
bulked up.
The stamina to do that.
Maybe he bulked up because he thinks maybe he's going to do the jab and grab, and he wants to be strong enough to get out of there.
If that's the game plan, B, that's a bad game plan because
they try to do that with the bigger guy to wear him out.
Look, that historically, that lean. Look, Fury does it successfully. He did it the Wilder.
Fury's so massive.
280 pounds leaning on you. Do you know what that does? I'll tell you though, Wilder does not have the boxing IQ to know how to get out of that situation.
Right, to negate.
You're talking about a guy who, if we look at the top 10, is there really anybody with an IQ there?
There is nobody smarter. See, Master of Accents hit you with that Eastern Euro shit.
It's just brutal.
That's not bad. What are you talking about?
That was probably Ivan Drago at best.
It is. It's fucking best Usyk you ever heard in your fucking life. Eddie, I need more money, Eddie. Remember that promo he cut?
Yeah, I do.
It's fucking hilarious.
I'm very feel.
Why? I'm very feel. I'm looking
at our top 10.
Yeah.
He has the highest IQ. He has the highest in-ring IQ of our top 10. There's killers there.
He's a smart guy.
So he will not allow that. Brendan, he will not allow that. He will rip uppercuts.
All right.
If he leans on him, he will take half steps back, rip him with uppercuts. He will take half steps.
So you're saying AJ has to stay extremely active and throw 3 and 4 punch combinations, which is unusual for a heavyweight, Vin.
Correct.
And unusual for a heavyweight of this size and this build.
I'm looking at a guy who I think doesn't have a good chance at winning. So then I have
You've said that since the first fight.
Correct. I said if and when there's a rematch, I don't know what this guy can do. And this is pre-Robert Garcia.
Right.
I don't know that Robert Garcia has the temperament for the game plan that I'm putting forward, which is, look, man, when you hear a guy say, stay on the outside, don't fucking trade with this guy. In some of Lennox's outings, which he stunk the joint out, it is jab and grab, or jab right hand grab, or jab right hand and get out of there.
Yeah.
That's the stink out the joint. There, he can't win doing that because this guy will counter him. He has to stay active enough where the counter. Look,
yeah, he has to be. So he has to be first, but he also has to be last. Is what you're trying to say?
You have to be first and last, because if you're not, this guy's going to counter you.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know how you. First off, as a heavyweight, throwing 4 punch combinations is what I think is key, and that's 2 jabs, a right hand, and a left hook. At very least, a double jab and a right hand behind it.
I think that's more along the lines of what you're going to see.
Well, if he doesn't
especially
put
a big up and down 6'6" fighter, you're going to see double jab right.
And
cross.
hey, that's not enough, because he's going to put double jab right cross, and Usyk's going to either slip them
from the southpaw stance.
Because he already said he had a nightmare with him being a southpaw.
Right.
He's going to slip those shots, and he's going to counter with a straight left right up the middle, which was landing last time.
Right.
How is he going to avoid that shot? He's going to come off the right hand.
He's going to have to throw that shot from the orthodox stance.
He's going to parry that right hand. Usyk is going to parry that right hand and come right down the pike with a left counter. If he doesn't come with a left hook behind that right hand, If he doesn't come with the 3 behind that 2,
I'm trying to think what
is
he could do as a taller fighter. He could try to jab over Usyk's lead hand. He can try to hook on top of Usyk's lead hand.
Sure.
And he can move towards his left with his left foot outside of Usyk's right foot to try to land that his own right hand. So it's going to be a lot for him to be thinking about, which is exhausting.
Look, and hey, man, not for nothing.
And he lost.
Look, you're going to be moving to his left to avoid that straight left that he was getting strafed with last time.
Right.
And then
he's going to have to throw that his straight right. I hope that's what he's been working on of his own. I think because he is the bigger puncher. So he's going to have to throw that straight right to land that right hand of his own in order to be more effective. And I think he does that by circling to his left. Okay.
I think if he doesn't come behind that B, what you want him to do with something else, he's going to start getting timed. If he does what you're saying and it's working, okay, he's doubling on the jab and throwing that right hand, nice crisp right hand down the middle. 3rd, 4th round. He's gonna start picking that off.
Well, he'll have to put. He's not gonna he can't just keep doing that. He'll have to mix in feints. You know what I mean? He'll have to, again though. Look, you start getting hit by fucking AJ for 3 rounds by that. We're talking. It's a different ballgame. I'm not saying he's going to be able to do it. That's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask. It is. I'm saying
what I'm saying is I don't think that's what AJ is going to do. I'm saying I'm putting my trainer hat on. That's what I'm working on.
So am I. I'm working on putting that left hook behind it because now you're giving him
left. I would try to put a left hook to the body. I'd also throw the right hand to the body and mix it up. Vary the levels, vary the speeds. Again, this is a lot to think about. It's lot to think about.
When we're putting our trainer caps on and giving him this, it's a lot, man.
Right.
These punches to the
and again, now you have to reel Usyk in from the other side, right? Usyk's now flying high. I beat this guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy, but I won convincingly. The rematch should be easier. I know what I have to do. I've cracked the code. I would be reeling him in, if I'm his trainer, don't be too confident. You can still get caught. This is the heavyweight division. I think it's his 3rd fight at this weight. Right? He fought Chisora and then AJ, right? And he didn't look spectacular against Chisora. He got hit a lot.
He did.
If you get hit a lot by a guy like AJ, who's a world-class heavyweight puncher, you're not in for a long night. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care if you're fucking the Terminator. So I'd be trying to reel him in and then do a lot of what you're talking about. Disruptive shit. Stay being a pest like he was in the first fight, right? In and out, setting up my heavier shots in the later rounds with just touch and go in the first few rounds. Okay. I'd like to see him stay light on his feet. Again, like you said, employ that straight left. I'd also like to see him up jab. He has a beautiful up jab against guys who are bigger fighters. He has a beautiful jab, a shotgun jab, which is also as an up jab off of his back foot, it functions as a power punch. So if he gets AJ on his heels, right, with that jab,
that's no good.
No good, because AJ goes straight back. He doesn't move laterally well.
No.
And he stays on center line. What Usyk needs to do himself defensively is to stay responsible and himself stay off center line. Because if he stays within AJ's crosshairs, it's going to be a short night for Usyk. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Because this motherfucker can punch and he's big, and it won't be a good look for any smaller guy. I don't give a fuck who you are. So there's a lot to think about here.
I like Usyk staying offline, a half step to his right, up jab, which you said is is borderline a power shot.
Right.
The jab is beautiful. The jab won him the first fight. Right. I like him sticking that straight left to the belly too.
Right.
Because you were talking about, yes, open up the up top for combinations because his hands are faster than AJ. You spoke about something which was moving levels. What you want from AJ is what I think Usyk's going to do.
Usyk's going to do.
Is changing levels and speeds on those shots. You were talking about being a pest in those first few rounds. He's a pest. He throws that jab. He pokes it. Right. Then he starts. So it looks like it's a rangefinder. He's popping that right. You know, he's a southpaw. He's popping the right hand for range. Like that's his jab. Then it starts hitting you like a boulder. Then it starts hitting you like a boulder. Then he's offline. So the straight left comes from an angle. He's clipping you almost from the side. How do you?
He bends at the waist nicely and then throws it like an overhand left too. He goes rooftop with it.
He loops it a little bit.
Yeah. It's a really good, accurate shot.
But he can throw it straight to the belly.
And again, if he gets AJ on his heels, moving backwards in a straight line, he's going to put his foot on the gas. We're going to text
each other. If this guy's moving back on any level, we're going to be texting each other. This fight's over.
I'm going to tell you what happens. If that is the case, and AJ begins to getting defensively irresponsible and moving backwards in a straight line, two things have now happened. The first thing is his confidence is shot. Okay. And the second thing is he's hurt by these shots. And he's forgetting, he's abandoning all defensive responsibilities, either hurt mentally, physically, both, and confused. And I think it ends within the 12 rounds if that's the case. I think that this is going to be fun to watch from that perspective. And again, like you pointed out, what weight does Usyk come in at? What weight does AJ come in at? Has AJ slimmed down a little bit? Has Usyk bulked up a little bit? Are we now seeing two guys closer in weight, right, than we did in the first fight? I think all these things are interesting and fun. This is the fun part of talking about a fight. Right now, guys, it's Tuesday for us going into Wednesday. We record these at night. So for us, this is great. Beginning, like kind of middle week. Where is everybody? What do they weigh? What do they look like? This is the most fun thing about the sport, to do this for me. And I think I speak for Vinnie as well.
You do.
So I think we got a lot to think about here. I think again, the factor that isn't the non-in-ring factor to me is the mental factor here.
Well, can I
pressure's
throw
on
back
AJ.
to something you said?
Sure.
You use loosey goosey. I can't think of a guy historically more loose than this kid.
Dude, this guy's having fun.
He loves where he's at in life.
This guy's having fun.
As a fighter, he makes this guy enjoys life.
Right. He's got a great sense of humor. Doesn't take himself too seriously, it appears. Obviously, he comes in shape, he comes fit, but there's plenty of, like, on my phone, if I look up the GIF finder that I have, if you put in Usyk, it's just a million videos of him mugging for the camera, dancing, having fun. I'm jealous that he's not American.
Did you see the footage of him, like, obviously, like, we've seen him dance a little. Did you see the footage of him, like, full on dancing?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, it's not hard to see where that footwork comes from.
Right. He's so this promotion, did you notice today he's carrying around an Eeyore doll?
Yes. I mean, what's going on, man?
Like a plush stuffed animal.
Like what is happening?
Like that, like the joint you buy at like the fucking airport because your kid is screaming.
Yes.
He's carrying an Eeyore around and petting it.
Yes.
And like snuggling it like my daughter does, like with her own Eeyore.
Have you heard enough from Anthony Joshua in this promotion, or should we say lack thereof?
I haven't heard shit from him.
So we don't know where his head is at. We know, look, we don't have to even have an interpreter of Usyk to know where this guy's head is at. When you see him laughing, dancing at the airport, we have someone
kissing babies
very close to us. We saw him joking around with, with him. That's not to say that AJ being completely serious isn't great.
Hey man,
I'm not fucking around.
AJ could be.
I'm here.
He could be Rocky IV in it right now.
I'm here to get what I feel.
He could be on a mountain going Usyk.
He could be. He could have chopped. We don't know what he was doing.
Is he chopping wood
with Robert Garcia? Because I didn't see much of it.
Is he squatting his wife and his drunk brother-in-law?
Is he running? is he running up? Is he running
up mountains in boots?
Up mountains, carrying someone like Kurt Angle when he was training for the Olympics?
Right.
For the '96 Olympics, which he literally did. He would put someone on his shoulders and run up hills in Pittsburgh. With all of this said, it's like they haven't given us much.
No.
Half of that is we blame the promotion, and half of that is, hey, even someone like, I haven't seen any sparring sessions at the Garcia Boxing Academy.
Nothing.
And that could be by design.
Yep.
But I'm going to go out on a limb here, man. I think he's got to clip him
AJ.
And hurt him and stop him to win.
I agree.
I'm almost saying, look,
dude, we're not going to disagree. I don't think we're going to disagree too much on the breakdown of this. I 100% agree with you. AJ's got to stop him to win.
But I do want to say this first. I believe that when you're fighting at a high level, that there aren't lucky punches. I'm not saying there aren't lucky punches in boxing.
Right.
I believe that Gabe Rosado, Beck Bully, was a perfect shot, but he caught a young kid slipping because he was so in his head. Beck Bully was like, I'm so much better than this guy. I don't got to watch out for this shot.
Right. Okay.
I don't believe that. I do believe that Marquez was setting up Pacquiao for that right hand.
He was
in their fourth fight.
Just like Sergio Martinez was setting up Paul Williams. He threw the shot 9 times.
Yes.
Rounds.
Yes.
If you watch that the Marquez Pacquiao fight, Marquez tried to land that shot 2 or 3 other times, and then he watched for Pacquiao to stutter, time to stutter, and clipped him.
If they see something that you and I don't, which is their job because we don't get paid 10% of $100 million. I mean, Garcia can be done after this.
Right.
He's probably getting $10 million, literally.
Right.
We don't get paid that. So if he sees something,
we should for this show.
Agreed.
Fucking Billy's supposed to work on sponsorship. Doesn't do that either.
It doesn't do anything.
I'm trying to drive a fucking McLaren around here.
Agreed.
At least the fucking thing. I can't even put gas in it. Thought this show was going to get me fucking McLaren money. Now
Listen, B.
Living in a box.
If they're not practicing a specific shot or combo / shot, this is going to go one of 2 ways. He's going to get busted up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's shown his mettle, Brendan, a couple times.
AJ?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a tough motherfucker. He's got.
But I'm just saying, bro, good-looking kid, well-spoken, Olympian, star. When you get that, people forget about things like mettle and toughness and say, fuck him. He's
a pretty boy, etc.
He's a pretty boy and all of that. Hey, maybe he is. He's a tough pretty boy.
Sure he is.
Are we going on to picks? Or you want to talk about it a little bit more?
I think we should go on to picks. I think we gave a pretty astute breakdown.
So before you give your pick, I want to say that if Robert Garcia sees something that we don't, and this knockout comes and he said we were working on that shot in the gym, we saw something the first time around. If that is not happening, I'm gonna leave that, and then I'm gonna let you make your prediction for Anthony Joshua,
Referee,
Alexander Usyk,
referee
2.
or corner stoppage. 9th or 10th round in favor of the current champion, Alexander Usyk. That's how I see this. He's going to stop him in the 9th or 10th round.
In the 10th or 11th.
Oh,
I don't, for obvious reasons, I don't know much about the commission over there. Will there be a 3 knockdown rule? I believe in the 10th or 11th, he drops him 3 times and it stopped.
Pezzy picks.
The 10th or 11th round,
This is some Vince Radamas shit.
He clips him.
Oh, we're getting that specific? All right.
He stops, he drops him and hurts him bad with that beautiful left hand. Early in the 10th or 11th, he gets up. He's not composed, but he gets up, covers up, stops him again, drops him again, gets up again, finishes the show. Becomes the man.
That's it. Legend.
He's the man.
Cements a Hall of Fame career.
Cements a Hall of Fame career. Ring Magazine, IBF, WBA, WBO. The only thing floating out there is Fury's WBC that he is holding hostage for.
Which fuck the WBC, by the way.
Fuck them. It's always been fuck them. If I'm keeping it a rack, so I listen.
Suleiman is a fucking.
His father. Yeah, when his father passed, I said, "Hey, maybe his son can do right by this." No, you know, what
they have the best looking belt. That's the thing. You know what it is? They have the best looking belt.
To me, the ring is the best looking belt. It always will be, but it's not a sanctioned belt. You know, that's
because you're from Philadelphia and it's the Rocky belt.
How dare you?
It's true. If I was from Philadelphia, it would be my favorite belt.
It's not the Rocky belt. It's the Ring Magazine real belt.
Like, look at this fucking jaw. This is very
cheap.
Look at all the fucking this thing's fucking sick, dude.
This is very cheap. You can't say Pamela correct. Pamela.
I don't put an R on the end of my shit. I told you I had my social studies teacher in high school used to say Asia and Africa.
Yeah, Asia and Africa. Because you fucking dimwits on that island.
Listen, don't you blaspheme on this show.
Don't you blaspheme me. Final picks are Brendan, corner or ref in 9 or 10?
Yes.
Vinny, 10th or 11th. A stoppage. This guy just.
You're saying corner or ref or an actual knockout?
I'm saying
three.
Is there a 3 knockdown rule?
Right.
If there's not look, hey, there's places with sanctioning bodies or commissions where there isn't a 3 knockdown rule.
Okay.
And a good ref will still stop it, even though it's not there. They have to all be little flash knockdowns and you pop right back up and the refs convince you totally fine. If not, those guys, it's going to be 3 knockdowns, or the second one, you pop up, give me your gloves. Are you okay? And you're on Queer Street.
I wonder what the media consensus and pundit consensus, how they'll line up with us.
I'm curious.
It doesn't really seem, I think part of, this just came to me. Part of the lack of promotion is because I think people aren't confident in AJ winning. Like, I don't think we're going out on a limb with our picks here.
We might be. I don't know. Bro, this is one time where you've said it multiple times with your Twitter feed. It's not that I haven't checked the temperature because I'm not interested. There's no temperature to check.
Right. But I'm saying, typically if they felt like it was a fluke the first time, right? You would see a buzz all right, AJ's going to get the strap back. You know what I mean? It's not Rahman Lewis, right? It's not Rahman Lewis McCall, right? We always cite Lennox Lewis in because it's just 2 big upsets. But it's not that vibe. It's yeah, AJ's, getting the rematch, but weren't people calling for Usyk? I mean, I know we were. to fight Fury instead of an AJ rematch. They were telling him, don't take the rematch.
Yes.
You're not going to win. So I think that's part of the lack of the buzz from the media, Vin. I don't think that they think this is going to be close. I don't think that they think this is going to be a competitive fight.
I'm quoting someone.
What are the odds? Do you know what the odds are?
I can look the lineup, but I want to tell you something.
Okay.
I'm quoting someone from Matchroom Boxing.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till he knocks this motherfucker out. Meaning AJ knocking out Usyk.
Okay.
That's how confident someone is. And it's not Eddie.
At Matchroom.
It's not Eddie that said this.
Okay.
In a meeting with all, people involved with the entire promotion.
Right. Okay.
Just in discussion, not
tell me off air.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got
to keep some things mysterious, guys. All right. We can't tell you everything we know. Part of that is because I don't know. He knows.
I'm trying to find the line. So Usyk is -200. Joshua is +170. It's close, guys.
Close
for you, guys. For those that don't understand what that means, is you have to bet $200 to win 100.
To win 100.
If you're betting on Usyk, if you bet $100 on AJ, you'll win 170. If that makes it any easier for you guys. Once again, just a really lackluster undercard. We're not going to touch it. We're not even going to give it. We're not going to give it burn, but we will say that it's not good because we have to.
It stinks. Remember that John Lovitz fucking the critic?
The critic.